loves. So, welcome back to the April Plan With Me video. Now, this month's theme is something a little more abstract and something that kind of goes with the flow, um, which is kind of ironic because, like in life, I've been just trying to go with the flow of things. Um, so yeah, I feel like this kind of works out. I've been wanting to do this theme for since March. Like I wanted to do it in March, but I didn't have a clear idea towards it, so I decided to go with the theme for the panda theme for March and not for this particular one. But I decided to put it for April because it feel like a more I kind of figured things out of how I wanted it to look like and to be, and I'm really happy with how this theme has actually turned out for the month. Now, I did decide to go a little pastel and just colorful. All I wanted was to play with colors, and I didn't want to think about where I was supposed to use which color, why, or anything. And this spread for this month kind of makes it work for me. I like the idea of how this is, so I just went with it. Now, I'm not really I'm using acrylic colors that I had on hand, and I knew these were gonna be pastel, so I didn't mix any colors together. They're just the pure colors from the tube. Of course, they do come out a bit patchy, if I don't know if you can see it, but but they look good. Like it's not like they look bad. I feel like the patchiness just adds to it. And the thing with this theme was it was supposed to be kept very organic, I would say, and not too well thought or something that's really planned, although definitely it was planned, but it was more about how I felt about a particular page and how I wanted it to be. So it's not very restrictive in any way, and I just went with the flow of things while doing this theme, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, it felt like a bit of something a little more free than what I would normally do. So I had a lot of fun doing this. Now, for the quote for this month is be enough for yourself first. The rest of the world can wait. I did create these stick-ons off camera because I did not have a stamp pad, and I technically used really thick watercolors to make this, and it kind of works out really well because some of the letters are a bit smudged, some of these letters are a bit incomplete, some of them look a bit, I don't know, out of space, and I kind of like how this ended up turning out eventually because it wasn't planned. I just thought that I should kind of use my stamps for this because the organic kind of broken down with a bit more structure with the stick-ons here. So, and then I added these circles in a metallic rose gold colored pen just to make it work, and some straight lines and stars, just adding a bit more variety to the spread. Now, my next spread is actually going to be about the second quarterly plan that we're supposed to have, and it's just basically my planning page in general, with on the left being my second quarterly plan and on the right being my April plan list. Now, again, like I said, this was a more flowy spread, so I just went straight into colors randomly. I have been loving this idea of lime green and pink for years now, and I don't know, I just love the color combination and it works really well. So I tend to divert towards that quite often. But I was like, I can't keep using the two colors on every single page together. So I did decide to break it up a bit and use other colors that I did have in the colors. The one color that I avoided using was a pastel orange or like a peach. For some reason, I just felt like it would just put too many colors onto the paper or on the spread. And I wanted to focus more on the pinks and the blues, a little bit of yellow just to kind of break up the pinks and the blues as well, and some purple here and there. So it wasn't like, I don't know, the oranges felt like it didn't fit in too well in this spread. Now, so here I'm just painting in like the green, like these two colors just end up matching together, like the mint green and the blue, which I end up separating later, which you'll see in the flip through, because that ended up being a plan much later, and I had to end up doing that off camera rather than on camera because something felt off, something felt missing in the spread. So I decided to kind of line the outlines with the rose gold pen, which ended up making it look much better. Like, I did leave the pencil lines for a reason, because it would kind of make this distinguished dark shape that I didn't have to like do it with paint, and it just, the pencil just made it work. But it wasn't enough. I felt like something just felt missing in the spread, so the metallic rose gold pen ended up making things work. Now, I did decide to do these boxes in a very different shape for this month. It was, I don't know why I went with this structure. It just felt like, okay, let's do something different and not do like a simple box. Now, for this quarterly plan, I did decide to write what changed, the main focus for the next 3 months, and what I'm kind of expecting out of myself, or setting expectations for myself so that I don't overdo it. Again, I'm trying to tie all of this in with a little bit of a few circles and lines that just felt like would work out together. And on the opposite, like the April plan, I wanted to do like the weekly spread that I would always do. So I decided to put in cutout circles in pink and blue. From, it's the same color that this, so it kind of ties in with the entire spread. And I just like the idea of circles for this month. Everything was a little more flowy, different, not very structural. On the left, I did decide to write this long column of just goals. Like it wasn't, and the four circles are for the 4 weeks of April. And again, it's still simple, but there's a lot happening on the spread, and I decided to tie it in with these circles in the same rose gold pen that I decided to do. The kind of the circle inspiration actually came out from like art that was more diverted towards the like making the universe and the concept, and I was like, let's kind of just turn it into something more abstract and not something very definitive. So now the next spread that we move on to is actually the monthly spread. This one was, I don't know how I ended up kind of even like doing this spread, because it's, I mean, I never would have done this in my bullet journal previously. I'll be very honest. Like, these are not the kind of things I would work with, even in an abstract spread. But I was like, no, but I want to do this time. So I decided to kind of go again with the flowy lines. Like, that's a constant on every page. Only the colors and the way they're placed keeps changing from page to page, which I kind of like, because I like the idea of not having that set structure for any spread at all. So, but I try to keep it as colorful as possible, because like, well, we were kind of trying to play with colors in this. Um, and I kind of like how this goes across the page, like the flow. It's very random, it's not thought out. And again, I'm going in with the pink and the lime green. On camera, it does look like the lime green is very similar to the yellow, but it's actually not in real life. Now I did so for the week, like for the entire, I decided to stick the weeks in like alternate colors of blue and pink. And I kind of went with that throughout the month, if you can see clearly. Now, I was like, how do I distinguish the lines in between? Because I was like, black's too stark, and I didn't want to use a lot of black unless I was drawing boxes just in general. So I decided to kind of use my white pen to actually draw the lines in between each day of the month and just separate out each of the box, because this was like, I was like, this is the best way to do it. And I didn't really add in like this is a monthly spread, because this does have a part of my reflections page as well. I was like, there's space, I need to add a reflections page, but I didn't want to do an entire page in general like I have been doing for a while. So I was like, what can I do? And I decided to add it onto this page, which kind of helps use up the space on the left without me having to do much on it. And the page anyways had a lot of breathing space in general, so I wasn't too worried about like adding that onto this spread as well. Now I decided to keep the headers simple, not do much there, because there was already so much going on. Plus I will be adding lines and circles again to tie in the entire structure with the other pages. So the header is just like really simple. Now for the reflection side of this, I did create a box on working on what worked, so keeping it really simple, like what worked out for the month for me. And the second box actually consists of favorites like songs, reads, and moments that I've had. I kind of am enjoying the whole reflection spread, so I decided to just roll with it and add it to the spread, because I was like, in March I didn't add one, and I am thinking of adding one for the final week. So I might just add one at the end of the week, but month, sorry. But I didn't really like plan it into everything. It's just kind of very random that I decided to go with it. Now I am adding these little stars and circles and lines just to make it work, and coins are the best way to go about with circles, I would say. So that. Now the next page after that is actually consisting of my mood and habit tracker. For this one I decided to use a very thin micron pen to just outline everything and number it. Now the idea for this was to just color it in randomly, which kind of works very well with the spread that I have been going with, and it kind of looks like this very I don't know, weird pattern. And I just decided to put the word mood there because I was just like, I don't need to write that it's a tracker. Now the habit tracker actually does end up being really simple this time, and I just drew boxes like for the entire month, because it wasn't much of a task to draw these boxes. And like the month layout was rather simple. Now for the headers, I decided to do something weird and draw this half semicircle with a coin around it, and then kind of go with a little bit of just random calligraphy and write it, which you will probably see in the flip through if I have written anything. And yeah, so again, the circles to tie it in. This spread will end up being really colorful once the mood tracker is actually filled in. The page after that, I decided to work on my expense and my gratitude tracker. I feel like I can't speak. For this, I decided to kind of omit putting color into the boxes and just kind of adding that flow, like it's going behind these boxes. And this spread is fairly simple from every other spread that we've seen. I just felt like the entire plan with me needed some breathing space, and this is where the breathing space actually comes into the entire spread. Just because I felt like these 2 pages didn't need much. I have been doing an expense tracker, and I felt like I did this divided monthly for the last month, for weekly for the last month, but I felt like having 1 page dedicated to it feels more easier than having multiple, having it on every weekly spread. So we decided to go with 1 page, and I've tried to keep a gratitude tracker every day. So again, I made these stickers and I just stuck them on, and I decided to just add these lines in with my Tombow pastel pens, blue and pink, sticking to the same color scheme. I could have used a different color, but I just felt like it's because I was using the header as the specific color, I should go with it. Now the next one is my weekly spreads. Definitely. I do these bi-weekly spreads because they've been easier for me to handle with. And I kind of enjoy these spreads, like working with these spreads better than anything else. So I did try to experiment last month and something, but these bi-weekly spreads kind of have started, like, they kind of fit well for me. I'm not too like picky. Now here the thing was, I just went randomly. I didn't draw this out. I was just like, I need to just go with the flow of things for this particular spread. So I just took a brush, took some paint, and I just went with it. I didn't plan out like what each is going to be like. I was just like, let's just do something a little more random for this particular spread. Initially, the plan was to fill out the entire side columns with this, but I felt like it would just overpower everything in the entire spread, and I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to still have that white fresh paper, the freshness of the white paper actually, and still have these really flowing lines with like weird I don't know, shapes, I would say. Yeah, sure, shapes. So as you can see, the left and the right side would obviously be different in every way. This is the last spread for the plan with me. And I decided to keep the boxes again same, like following the whole different box, like the wave from the top. Kind of suits the entire theme rather well. So after this, I just added week 1 and week 2, like the stick-ons that I've already had. And this time I just didn't write the entire day of the month, but went with like the first letter of each day. Again, tying everything in with these little circles and giving the very universe constellation vibe, but in a very abstract form more than anything, and some lines. Now I did add a productivity tracker on the right of each column because I've been doing it and I kind of really like adding that graph in. So it's just a simple graph that I added in the productivity tracker, and that's all I have for you for this month. Just sit back and enjoy the flip through. You'll see the changes that I made off screen.